What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Comically Boston, episode 41. Today is March 8th, 2023. We have a new episode of Mandalorian today. We'll be getting to that real quick, but we got some breaking news. Some things that got dropped this week. Some new images from the Penguin show. I don't know if they're released images or just images that paparazzi's snagging, but we got a purple and gold Maserati here with Mr. Colin Farrell playing Penguin from the Matt Reeves Batman universe, which is the Rob Pattinson. Check it out. But I do love the prosthetic. Like, Colin Farrell is a handsome man. He's also very Irish, got an Irish bloke. And he's got like a New York accent with this, hey, what are you doing to me? You know, fucking, he's got quite a lot going on with the Penguin, but he's got a nice purple suit. I like how he's looking. Oh no, he's got the scars on his face. He's got a fat suit on. Yeah, baby, yeah. I like it. It looks like a little boss version of the Penguin. It looks like he's going to be doing shit. There was also an image of this lady here playing, I believe they're calling her Sophia Falcone, which is probably either the daughter of Falcone, Salvatore? No, that's Salvatore Maroni. Who's Falcone? Something Falcone. You know who I'm talking about. John Turturro. He got shot in the last movie, Falcone. So, yeah, so Falcone, so she's going to be there for whatever reason, collecting his will. Maybe she's going to be trying to run the Falcone family now. Who knows? But I believe that's the woman from How I Met Your Mother. That's the mother. Her yellow umbrella. Comment below if you watch that show and you're into the How I Met Your Mother. Or if you know that bitch from anywhere. Not bitch. I always say bitch like it's mean. But it's just like me referring to a woman. What's up, bitch? You know that. Actually, I really gotta stop that though. I always go, look at these bitches, but it's just women. Like, but they're not bitches. They're just me saying, look at those women. Like, but I'm from Boston, so I've never once been like, look at these proper young ladies. I go, look at these bitches. You know, like these bitches crazy. You know, you don't go those crazy, rowdy young women. You go, these bitches crazy. You get it. But. NBA released some news. The NBA suspended Ja Morant for his actions I talked about in the last video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and check out that video. Ja Morant suspended for that gun. He got 50-game suspension. So, see you next season, Ja. And some Marvel news. Danny Ramirez, the guy that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, he, I believe, is going to be the new Falcon because Sam Wilson is now Captain America. And he posted a little thirst trap on the Twitters, and I loved what his hashtag was. He said, here's an update. Hashtag Jonathan Majors set the bar too high. Yes, he did. Kang the Conqueror is ripped, and they covered him up the whole movie, except for one scene where he had his arm out. So, granted, he was in Creed 3 shape. I gotta go check that out maybe this weekend. I'm thinking maybe I'll do a double feature this weekend, Creed 3 and Cocaine Bear. But if not, maybe just Creed 3. Shazam's coming out soon, I think, too. Might have to see that. But Danny Ramirez, maybe seeing him in the future in Captain America 4. So he's probably filming that soon. And big news dropped the other day, I believe it was yesterday. Jon Bernthal is back as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again. That started filming in Yonkers, New York. So, some big news, people. And then the Celtics played on Monday for the third OT game in a row. Or the third OT quarter, because they had a 2 overtime quarter against the Knicks. And then Monday night, they lost. No JT, no Al, no Rob. So, yeah, it is what it is. But Grant had a chance to make one free throw to win the game. He missed both free throws. Said he was going to make both of them. When Donovan Mitchell walked in front of him and was like, you can miss this shit. And Grant missed both of them. Sucks. He also missed the 3 that would have gotten us back into it, but tough one for Grant. But we lost in OT, 118-114. We demote our record to 45-21. What are we doing, boys? We got to pick up a W tonight. We got to get it done. Tonight, we're the Portland Trail Blazers. Tatum time. Come on. Let's get it. Let's get back into the groove. Let's win some games here. Let's get our Celtics mojo back. I'll tell you what doesn't need its mojo back is Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2, Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. Woo! This episode, right? The first episode, I was like, okay, yeah. It was good, but it didn't necessarily start it off like running. Where this episode gave you so much shit that I did not think it was going to get into this early in the season. So let me go through spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen Mando, Episode 2 of Season 3, Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore. Spoilers right now. Go check it out. Come back. Don't do what you want to do. But I'm talking spoilers. We're going to be breaking down everything that happened this episode. It starts on some fireworks, maybe some pod racing. Peli Moto says it's Boontu Eve on the week of Boontu on Tatooine. So whatever that means, maybe it's like a New Year's type of thing on Tatooine. But Mando shows up. He says he needs a part for IG-11, trying to fix him. That was last week's story, whole thing. No luck from the Jawas. Jawas can find any part, and even they couldn't find the part for the droid. So Peli Moto hooks him up with a sweet droid, R5-D4, who served in the rebellion. So maybe he was one of those people that was in the in those old movies. Maybe what's his name? R5? Maybe he was Obi-Wan's droid. Now that I think about it, maybe not. Maybe he was with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan when Obi-Wan was really young. But he was in rough shape, so Peli cleaned him up a little bit, but then sends him on his way with Grogu and Mando. The droid takes Grogu's seat because Grogu's just going to sit on the lap with Daddy anyways. So Daddy Mando and Grogu head to Mandalore. He tells him, hey, you got to be able to navigate the galaxy. He tells him, hey, Mandalore looks scary as they're flying above it. I know it looks scary, but it was once green and very beautiful. Mandalore, every Mandalorian can trace back their armor. The Beskar mines of Mandalore. Which is kind of crazy if you got to think about it. Like every single one of them at one point can trace their shit back to there. So, and I believe he's even talking about himself. Even though he has never been to Mandalore, he lived on the moon of Concordia, which is right off the planet there. So he lived on Concordia. They even pointed out, and they even point out as they're going in, he's like, this is where we visited Bo-Katan, in the same system, but she's over here. We're flying into this beast. Then he descends into the rain. The rain looks so good. The CGI and everything looks so good as he's flying into the planet. I gotta say, this show, everything on this show so far has looked amazing. I have no problems with any of the CGI, any of the effects, nothing. It all has looked great. There's been a few things where you're like, oh, that's a green screen and they're behind them. But, I mean, as far as it looked great. It looks great. But, so they finally descend down to the planet. Why they needed a droid the whole time? Because he wants the droid to test the atmosphere to see if it's breathable and safe for Grogu and them and him to go on foot or to enter the planet, you know? So they send R5. R5's scared, so they send R5, and then all of a sudden R5's little signal disappears. So Mando has to go in after him. Fucking useless droid. Mando enters this cave, and then all of a sudden he gets attacked by furry-looking creatures. And they're not Wookiees, but they're like furry creatures that live in this dark cave, and they jump out, and 3 of them attack Mando. He does some pretty light darksaber work, but he doesn't look like he's really classy with it. He looks like he needs some practice because he's not using it as well as he should be. So he defeats those 3 furry beasts. He saves R5. He finds out the atmosphere is breathable, so that means Grogu can come along in his pod with his little light. He's got a new pod. Oh boy. So Grogu actually gets a lot of shine. It's not just him riding around that pod like I thought it was going to be. But in the last episode, Bo-Katan had told Mando, hey, you got to go to the Civic Center. So they find the Civic Center, which sounds like where they buy Hondas. I'm just kidding. But they walk into this pretty much like, I wish we could see like a before and after, like they'd do like a quick pan, like a memory of her looking and what it looked like when it was all like almost like Thanos with the Reality Stone, when he's like talking about Titan. He goes, Titan was a beautiful planet once, and he shows you what it did look like, and it was all green and beautiful and ships flying, and then all of a sudden reality comes back and it's destroyed, bombed. The places, Mandalore has seen better days. It is fucked up, but it's definitely not cursed like Bo-Katan said, and it has breathable air, so it's definitely not as bad as what people had said. They said it was so toxic that people couldn't even go there. And obviously the furry creatures are alive, so obviously some life is on the planet living. So Bo-Katan goes, oh, I wonder what else is living, but that's a little later. So they descend down the Civic Center, down into the mines. Mando with his jetpack, Grogu with his little pod, just, you know, floating next to him. So they head down the mines. It's very spooky. Dark caves. They're trying to find the living waters. Mando doesn't quite know where he's going. It's his first time on this planet. He finds a Mando helmet in the dirt, like a broken one. And he looks at it and, oh no, it's a trap! It's a trap! You know, Captain Arkbar, it's a trap! You know? Fucking. So it's a trap. It's a spider droid that takes Mando, but Grogu hides. So something inside the machine is running it, though. It looks like almost like an eyeball, but it's like a creature, but it's like a robot droid, but it's like alive. It's a weird little creature inside this crab droid. So the crab droid takes Mando, walks away. Grogu follows him. He puts Mando into like this little cave, and then he gets out of the big crab machine, and then he's like walking around a droid, but he's a weird looking droid. Like, he is definitely nothing that we've seen before. He's like almost half spider, half droid, half like, I don't know, whatever eyeball creature that is. It's strange. Grogu tries to free Mando, and then unsuccessfully wasn't able to do it with the Force. So Mando goes, go to Bo-Katan. And Grogu, you know, flees. Grogu force pushes a furry beast. So, right, we saw Mando get beat up a little bit by those furry beasts. Still beat him. But with first encounter where it's Grogu just by himself, and it's him versus furry beast, he force pushes him out of the cave. No problems there. Gets into the pod, gets into the ship, looks at the astromech, tells him, we gotta go to Bo-Katan. So Grogu's a little smarter than he looks. But so he goes to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan's like, where the fuck is Mando? And Grogu's like, ah. So she agrees to help. She takes her ship now. Takes her, Grogu, and R5. They go back to try and get Mando. So she has to fight some of those furry beasts now. And she actually knows what they are because she's been to the planets before. So we find out that the furry beast's name are the Alamites. So that's the type of creature that they are. I'm still going to call them furry beasts. But then she comes across the droid thing and Mando. The droid thing is trying to take Mando's blood. What is he doing with that? Is he cloning him? Is he working for somebody? Why is he in Mandalore by himself taking Mandalorians that show up here? I have no idea. Who is this creature that we don't find out? We have nothing like no like things that we should know. So Bo-Katan is fighting this creature thing, and she is doing okay job, but he has a shock stick, so he's shocking her, and she's losing a little bit, but then she picks up the Darksaber, and she uses the Darksaber no problems. Like, she's having, and it's not even supposed to be hers, it's supposed to be, you know, won by battle, and it's supposed to be Mando's. Mando seems to be having a tough time with it, and she was wielding it no problem. She wasn't like struggling to, you know, whip it around like he is. So I don't know, maybe they're trying to tell us something. Maybe they're trying to tell us that Bo-Katan is really the true leader of Mandalore, and that maybe that she just has a lot more training with the blade. She's used it before, she's held it before. We know that from Star Wars Rebels, the animated stuff, so I don't know. But then she ends up saving Mando. She stabs the droid thing in the heart. Then its head, they somehow made this droid look so creepy. Its head, like, stabs in the heart so that the machine body dies, and then its head pops off, and that's its own, like, creature, like, crawls away like a spider, jumps into the big spider machine that took Mando in the first place, then starts fighting her in that. but she seems to handle it light work. You know, she doesn't even take that many shots. She slices up the legs, slices up the bottom, slices off its head. You know, you see the things light at least die out, so maybe it's not alive anymore, but maybe it could be brought back. Who knows? She saves Din. He like kind of passes out. She makes him pog soup. He has no idea what that is. She says, "Ain't that ironic? Every friggin' Mandalore worth his armor has grown up drinking this stuff, and this is the first time you've had it, and you're in this full Beskar suit." She just, you know, she's pretty much calling him out for not being a real Mandalore, even though he kind of is. You know, he's taken the creed and he's lived his life for these people. You know, so like he is, but this is why he's here. He's trying to redeem himself in the living waters. So he goes, "I am in your debt. You know, I'm in your debt. You saved my life, but I have to go to the living waters." So she doesn't even argue with him. She goes, "I'll take you." He's like, "Really? You will?" So she offers to take him to the living waters, says he won't even find it without her anyways. So they go to the living waters. They make their way down. She goes, "This is the entrance." He wasn't anywhere near where he was supposed to be. They walk through this place. They walk in. She goes, "The living waters." She goes, "Hold on, I want you to get the full treatment." Then Bo-Katan reads, "These mines date back to the age of the first Mandalore. According to ancient folktale, this was once a mythosaur lair. Mandalore the Great was, you know, the first Mandalore. Mandalore the Great was said to have tamed the beast, and it is from these legends that the skull signet was adopted and became our symbol of our planet." And she's like, kind of scoffs, like, "I told you the living waters ain't shit, son." And he's kind of staring into them. He's like, "Oh my God, I've made it. This is what my mission is. This is the way, you know?" And the whole time, as they're getting to these living waters, she's kind of telling him more about, she's been here. I've been to the waters when I was a child. I was the princess of this place. I lived here for a long time. My father was the king. He died defending Mandalore." And, you know, that kind of line hit Mando, and he stops and turns to her and goes, "This is the way," and then keeps walking. And Grogu's looking at her like, "Aren't you going to say this is the way back?" She's like, "Fuck are you looking at?" Which I thought was funny. But, so she reads that thing. Mando decides to go for a swim. And as he's walking in, he says, "I swear on my name, and the name of the ancestors, that I shall walk the way of the Mandalore. And the words of the creed shall forever be forged in my heart." He gets sunken away, taken. You don't see what grabs him. And then Bo-Katan goes for a swim, dives in after him. She throws on the helmet real quick, dives in. She still has the jetpack on, so she jetpacks in the water. Don't know if that would work. Wouldn't the water clog up the... I don't know. So she jetpacks in the water. She propels, you know, almost like a, you know, like a boat. She propels in after him. So he pretty much sinks all the way to the goddamn bottom. He's heavy in that Beskar. Or something dragged him all the way to the bottom. So she dives in, goes all the way to the bottom. She has to turn off her light so that she can see his light. Gets all the way over to him. So she's smart, man. She's always, even in the stressful situations, thinking on her feet. Grabs up Mando from the bottom of the ocean, or living waters. It's a ginormous pit. You thought it was just this pool. No, it's a ginormous cavernous pit. So Bo-Katan grabs Mando from the bottom, flies back up. As she's flying up, she sees a creature that looks like is that a tooth? Is that a horn? Is that a eyeball? Is that a fucking mythosaur? What the fuck? A live action mythosaur? Oh my God, when I seen it, I lost it. I was like, they're giving us mythosaurs in episode 2? Out of what? Probably 8. You know, the first 2 seasons were 8 each. This would probably be another 8. So we got 6 more episodes in episode 2. They give us a mythosaur? And then that's where they ended. Right? So she thinks there's nothing even there. She thinks mythosaur is bullshit and blah, blah, blah. She's reading that caption like nothing's happening. They fly up to the surface. They fly up. She plops him down the stairs. Mando's coughing up water. He's like, what the fuck grabbed me? He doesn't even say anything. But you can tell he's just kind of like dazed, confused. Grogu's like, "Dad, you okay?" And Bo-Katan's like staring at the water like, what the fuck did I just witness? You know, like, and that was it. That's the end. And then you get to the Jon Favreau, you know, credits, and it's That music is phenomenal. That music, Book of Boba Fett's music was amazing too. Boba Fett, Boba Fett, boom, 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 Fett. You know, like it was. The Star Wars shows, right? You can talk all the shit you want on some of the Marvel shows. I know some people hated Miss Marvel. I know some people hated She-Hulk. I personally, I liked, didn't love Miss Marvel. I liked Miss Marvel, and I thought She-Hulk was funny as hell. And it was the most horny of the Marvel shows. So I liked it. I thought it was classy. I thought it was gave us some adult shit. It wasn't just like meant for kids, which Miss Marvel felt very young audience. I think the Star Wars shows deliver, man. Obi-Wan, all of them have delivered. Andor, Boba Fett, all the seasons of Mando. This is a good one. So comment below. Let me know. What did you think of Mando Episode 2, Chapter 18, The Mines of Mandalore? And let me know where you guys think we're heading next week for the Mandos. Shout out the Celtics. Let's go. Let's beat the Portland Trailblazers. And I'm going to get a haircut tonight. So next video, you'll be seeing me a little bit more handsome. I know I've been looking like Tom Hanks from Forrest Gump, but it's okay. We're going to be looking handsome again. I know some of you might miss the Gandalfing beard. I'm only 24. I look like a grown man. So, I know, it needs some work. I need some work.
That is one big pile of shit.
But we'll be looking handsome next video, so stay tuned. Season finale, Last of Us, coming up Sunday, so maybe that's the next video, but who knows? Lego's coming Saturday. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, hit that bell if you're new. Thank you guys for coming. I love you guys. See you when I see you.
It's a trap! That is one big pile of shit.